The restaurant was full of soft music, quiet laughter, and the sound of glasses touching. It was one of the most expensive restaurants in the city. Rich people sat at round tables, wearing costly clothes and shining watches. Everything inside looked perfect. Near one table, a black woman stood quietly. Her name was Maya. She wore a simple blue dress. It was clean, neat, and elegant, but not flashy. Her hair was tied back softly. She did not wear heavy makeup. She looked calm, but her eyes showed deep strength. Many people thought she was a waitress because of how simple she looked. She was not holding a menu. She was not holding a tray. She was only waiting. At that moment, a white woman sitting at the center table looked at Maya with anger. The woman was loud, rich, and proud. Her name was Karen. She believed money gave her power over everyone. Karen snapped her fingers and shouted, "Hey, you, come here." Maya slowly turned her head. Karen looked her up and down with disgust. "Why are you standing there?" Karen asked loudly. "You people should stay in the back." The restaurant became quiet. People started looking. Maya spoke softly, "I'm not staff." Karen laughed. "Don't lie," she said. "I know a waitress when I see one." Some people felt uncomfortable. Some looked away. Others watched with interest. Maya stayed calm. She did not raise her voice. "I'm waiting for someone," she said. Karen rolled her eyes. "Waiting? In this place?" She laughed again. "People like you don't belong here." Maya felt the words like knives, but she stayed silent. Karen stood up from her chair. Her heels made loud sounds on the floor as she walked closer. "Do you know how much I pay to eat here?" she said. "I don't want to see trash standing near my table." Gasps filled the room. Maya took a slow breath. "Please step back," she said calmly. That made Karen angry. Without warning, Karen grabbed the front of Maya's dress. In one strong pull, the dress tore. The sound was loud. The fabric ripped open. The entire restaurant froze. Phones came out. People whispered. Some covered their mouths in shock. Maya stood still. She did not scream. She did not cry. Her heart was beating fast, but her face stayed calm. She gently held the torn dress together with her hands. Karen laughed loudly. "That's what you get," she said. "Learn your place." Maya looked straight into her eyes. In a soft but strong voice, she said, "You should stop." Karen smirked. "Or what?" Maya replied, "My husband is watching." Karen burst into laughter. "Your husband?" she mocked. "Let me guess, a driver? Or a cleaner?" People looked around the room. Maya turned her head slowly toward the entrance. The doors were open. A tall man stood there. He wore a dark suit. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He had seen everything. The tearing, the laughter, the pain. His hands were tight by his side. No one knew who he was yet, but the air changed. The music stopped. The laughter died. The man took one slow step inside the restaurant, and another. Maya looked at him. Her eyes softened. Karen followed her gaze and looked at the man. She laughed again, but this time her laugh was unsure. "That's him," she said loudly. "The millionaire husband?" The man stopped walking. He looked directly at Karen. His voice was calm, cold, and clear. "I saw everything." The room went silent. No one moved. No one spoke. And in that moment, everyone knew this was not just a mistake. This was the beginning of a disaster. The restaurant stayed silent after the man's words. "I saw everything." No one dared to breathe loudly. Even the sound of plates stopped. Phones were still raised, but hands began to shake. Everyone felt that something heavy was about to happen. Karen tried to laugh, but her voice cracked. "You saw everything?" she said. "So what? This is between me and a waitress." The man did not reply immediately. Maya stood quietly, holding her torn dress. Her hands trembled just a little, but she kept her head high. She did not look weak. She looked tired of being judged. The manager finally rushed forward. Sweat was on his forehead. "I'm so sorry," he said nervously, looking at Karen. "We will handle this situation." He turned to Maya and spoke in a low voice. "Please leave. We don't want trouble." Maya looked at him calmly. "I did nothing wrong," she said. Karen smiled proudly. "You hear that? She refuses to listen," Karen said. "This is why people like her need to be controlled." Some guests nodded. Others looked ashamed. The man at the entrance finally stepped closer. His shoes made soft but strong sounds on the floor. Every step felt like pressure on the room. He looked at the manager. "You asked my wife to leave?" he asked calmly. The manager froze. "Your wife?" he whispered. Karen's smile faded for a second, but she quickly laughed again. "Oh, please," she said loudly. "This woman is your wife? Don't joke." The man ignored Karen. He took off his suit jacket and gently placed it around Maya's shoulders. His hands were careful, respectful. Maya looked up at him. "You're here," she said softly. "I'm here," he replied. That small moment felt powerful. Karen felt something strange in her chest. Fear, but she pushed it away. "So," Karen said angrily, "that doesn't change anything." She was standing near my table. The man turned slowly toward Karen. "She was standing," he said, "because she was waiting for me." Karen crossed her arms. "And who are you exactly?" she asked. The man looked around the restaurant. Many people recognized him now. Whispers started. "That's him. He owns several companies. I've seen him on TV." Karen noticed the whispers. Her face lost color. The man spoke clearly. "My name is Daniel Carter." The manager's eyes went wide. Daniel Carter was a powerful businessman, a millionaire. Some even said billionaire. The manager's knees felt weak. Karen stepped back slightly. "That's not possible," she said. "Why would someone like you marry her?" Maya felt the insult again. This time, it hurt deeper. Daniel looked at Karen with cold eyes. "I married her," he said slowly, "because she is strong, because she is kind, because she is better than people who think money makes them human." The restaurant stayed silent. Karen's lips shook. "I didn't know," she said quietly. "If I knew, I wouldn't." Daniel raised his hand. "That's the problem," he said. "You only respect people when you know their value in money." Karen looked around. People were staring at her now. Judgment was in their eyes. "But she dressed like a waitress," Karen said, trying to defend herself. "How was I supposed to know?" Maya finally spoke again. "Respect should not depend on clothes," she said calmly. Her voice was soft, but it echoed. Karen felt anger turn into fear. The manager rushed again. "Mr. Carter, please forgive us," he said. "We will give you a free meal. Anything you want." Daniel looked at him. "I don't want a free meal," he said. "I want dignity in this place." He looked at Karen. "And I want justice." Karen's breath became fast. "You can't do this to me," she said. "I have connections." Daniel replied quietly. "So do I." Security guards slowly walked closer. Karen looked around, searching for support. No one helped her. No one spoke for her. Maya stood beside her husband. She still felt hurt, but she felt safe now. Daniel took her hand. "This is not over," he said calmly. The room felt cold. Outside, sirens could be heard far away. And Karen finally realized she did not tear, just address. She had torn her own future. The security guards stopped a few steps away. They waited. No one told them what to do yet. Karen stood frozen in the middle of the restaurant. Her face was pale. Her hands shook, but she tried to hide it by holding her purse tightly. "This is crazy," she said. "You are all overreacting." Her voice was loud, but it sounded empty. Daniel did not raise his voice. He did not shout. He simply looked at her, like a judge looking at the truth. "You tore my wife's dress," he said calmly, in front of many people. Karen shook her head quickly. "It was an accident," she lied. She moved suddenly. The room reacted with soft gasps. Phones were still recording. Maya felt a tight pain in her chest. She wanted to speak, but she stayed quiet. She had learned long ago that silence sometimes speaks louder. Daniel turned to the people around. "Did anyone see what happened?" he asked. For a moment, no one answered. Then a young woman at a nearby table stood up. Her voice was nervous, but clear. "I saw it," she said. She grabbed the dress and pulled it. More people nodded. "Yes, we saw it. It was not an accident." Karen's eyes moved quickly from face to face. Support disappeared. The manager wiped his face with a cloth. "This is very bad," he whispered. Karen suddenly pointed at Maya. "She provoked me," Karen said angrily. She looked at me with attitude. Maya finally raised her eyes. "I looked at you," she said calmly, "because you were shouting." Her voice was steady, not weak, not angry. That calmness hurt Karen more than shouting ever could. Daniel placed himself slightly in front of Maya, like a shield. Enough, he said. He turned to the manager. Call the police, Daniel said. This is public assault. Karen laughed nervously. You wouldn't dare, she said. This will ruin your reputation. Daniel looked at her. My reputation is built on truth, he said. Yours is built on fear. The manager nodded quickly and stepped away to make the call. Karen's breathing became fast. Listen, she said softly now. We can fix this. She reached for Maya's hand. I'm sorry, she said, but her eyes showed panic, not regret. Maya gently pulled her hand back. Sorry should come before harm, Maya replied. Those words cut deep. People whispered again. That was powerful. She's so strong. Karen felt smaller with every second. Suddenly, an older man spoke from a corner table. I own this building, he said, and I don't allow this kind of behavior here. Karen's mouth opened, but no sound came out. The power had fully shifted. Daniel turned to Maya. Are you okay? He asked softly. She nodded slowly. They always think I am small, she said, until they realize I am not. Daniel squeezed her hand. You are never small, he said. Police officers entered the restaurant. The room parted for them. Karen's legs felt weak. She attacked her, someone said. We all saw it. The officers looked at Karen. Ma'am, we need you to come with us, one officer said. Karen stepped back. This is unfair, she shouted. She should be arrested for lying. Maya looked at her one last time. I don't need to lie, she said. The truth is loud enough. The officers took Karen by the arm. As she was led away, she screamed, You will regret this. Daniel did not react. He wrapped his arm around Maya and guided her toward the exit. People moved aside. Some clapped quietly. Some looked ashamed. Outside, the cold night air touched Maya's face. She took a deep breath. Inside, the restaurant felt smaller now. Behind them, Karen's voice faded. Ahead of them, cameras waited, and the world was about to hear the story. Not as gossip, but as a lesson. Outside the restaurant, bright lights flashed. Cameras clicked again and again. Reporters stood close, holding microphones. People passing by stopped to watch. News traveled fast, and now everyone wanted to know what had happened inside. Maya stood beside Daniel. His arm was around her shoulders. The jacket still covered her torn dress. She felt safe, but her heart was heavy. A reporter spoke loudly. Mr. Carter, is it true that your wife was attacked inside? Daniel looked at Maya first. Do you want me to speak? He asked gently. Maya nodded. Yes, she said. People should know. Daniel turned to the cameras. Yes, he said calmly. My wife was insulted and attacked because of how she looks. The crowd reacted with shock. Inside the restaurant, the manager stood near the door. His face was pale. He knew this night would change everything. Police officers walked Karen outside in handcuffs. Gasps filled the street. Karen tried to hide her face, but the cameras followed her. This is a misunderstanding, she shouted. They are lying, but no one listened. One reporter asked her, Why did you tear her dress? Karen stayed silent. Maya watched her go. She felt no joy, only sadness. Daniel spoke again. This is not about money, he said. This is about respect. A reporter asked Maya, How did you stay calm after such humiliation? Maya took a breath. I learned long ago, she said, that anger gives power to hate. Her words spread quickly online. Inside the restaurant, police officers spoke to witnesses. Phones were handed over. Videos were shared. The truth was clear. The manager received a call. His hand shook as he listened. Yes, I understand, he said. I will handle it. He hung up and looked around. This restaurant will close for tonight, he announced. People left quietly. Later that night, Daniel and Maya sat in a quiet car. The city lights passed by slowly. I'm sorry you had to face this, Daniel said. Maya looked out the window. I face it every day, she replied softly. Just not always this loud. Daniel felt pain in his chest. I should have been there sooner, he said. You arrived when it mattered, Maya answered. The next morning, the story was everywhere. Headlines read, Racist attack in luxury restaurant. Millionaire's wife humiliated over skin color. Social media exploded. People shared the video. People shared Maya's words. Support messages flooded in. The restaurant released a statement. We deeply regret the incident, it said. We are reviewing staff behavior. Daniel read it and shook his head. That's not enough, he said. He made a call. Within hours, the manager was suspended. The restaurant faced investigation. Meanwhile, Karen sat alone in a cold room at the police station. Her makeup was ruined. Her confidence was gone. She thought of her friends, her status, her image, all slipping away. She whispered to herself, I didn't know, but deep inside she knew. Back at home, Maya stood in front of the mirror. The torn dress lay on the bed. She touched it gently. This dress showed me something, she said quietly. Daniel stood behind her. What? He asked. Who people really are, she replied. He hugged her from behind. You turn pain into power, he said. Maya closed her eyes. No, she said. I turned silence into a voice. Later that day, a message appeared online from Maya. I forgive, it read, but I will not stay quiet. The message went viral. People from different places shared their own stories. A movement began, and Karen's single act of hate became a mirror for the world. One that showed an ugly truth, and a chance to change. The city woke up to the story. Screens everywhere showed the same video. A dress torn, a woman standing calm, a man protecting her. People talked about it at work, in buses, and in cafes. This could happen to anyone, some said. It happens every day, others replied. Maya sat quietly at home, scrolling through messages on her phone. Thousands of people had written to her. Some shared support. Some shared pain. She placed the phone down. This is bigger than me now, she said softly. Daniel nodded. Yes, he replied, and we must handle it right. Across town, Karen sat in her large, silent house. Her phone kept buzzing, but she did not answer. Her friends had stopped calling. Her social club removed her name. Her company placed her on leave. She looked at the mirror. The confident woman she once knew was gone. Later that day, Karen met her lawyer. His face was serious. This is not good, he said. Assault charges. Public backlash. Video evidence. Karen's voice shook. I said sorry, she whispered. Isn't that enough? The lawyer looked at her. Sorry doesn't erase actions, he replied. Back at the restaurant, inspectors walked in. They checked records, staff training, and complaints. The manager sat quietly, signing papers. I failed, he said. I stayed silent. That silence cost him his job. The restaurant chain announced new rules. Mandatory training. Zero tolerance. But the damage was already done. Meanwhile, Daniel and Maya stood before a group of community leaders. Cameras recorded every word. Daniel spoke first. This is not revenge, he said. This is responsibility. Maya stepped forward. I don't want her life ruined, she said. I want minds changed. People listened closely. Her calm strength filled the room. A reporter asked, what justice looks like to you? Maya answered slowly. Justice is learning, she said. So this never happens again. The court date arrived. Karen entered the courtroom quietly. No cameras this time. No smiles. Maya walked in with Daniel. She wore a simple white dress. Her head was high. Karen avoided her eyes. The judge listened. Witnesses spoke. Videos played. Truth stayed clear. Karen was found guilty of public assault and hate behavior. The sentence was announced. Community service. Mandatory counseling. Public apology. Karen broke down. She cried. For the first time, no one felt sorry. Outside the court, Maya spoke to reporters. I don't celebrate punishment, she said. I celebrate awareness. That line spread again. Weeks passed. Karen worked in community centers. She cleaned floors. She served food. People recognized her. Some judged. Some stayed silent. For the first time, she felt small. One day, she saw Maya's message on a wall. Respect is free. Karen stared at it for a long time. At home, Maya received an invitation. A school wanted her to speak. She stood on stage days later. I was not brave that night, she said. I was tired. The audience listened. Tired of being seen as less, she continued. But silence helped me stand. Applause filled the hall. Daniel watched from the side, proud. That night, Maya and Daniel sat together. Do you regret going there? Daniel asked. Maya smiled softly. No, she said. It showed the world who we are. Outside, the city moved on. But something had changed. People look twice now. Listen more. And somewhere, Karen learned that power without respect means nothing. Time passed, but the memory did not fade. For Maya, the torn dress was no longer about fabric. It was about the moment she was judged without knowing her story. She kept the dress folded in a drawer, not as pain, but as a reminder. Every morning, Maya woke up with purpose. She started speaking at schools, offices, and community centers. She did not shout. She did not accuse. She told stories. Stories of silence. Stories of strength. Stories of dignity. People listened. Many cried. Some apologized for things they had never noticed before. Daniel watched all of this quietly. He was proud but also careful. "You don't have to carry the world," he told her one night. Maya smiled. "I am not carrying it," she said. "I'm sharing it." One afternoon, Maya received a letter. There was no name on the front. Inside, the handwriting was shaky. "I don't expect forgiveness," it read. "But I want to say I was wrong." Maya read the letter slowly. She knew who wrote it. Karen. The letter spoke of shame, of loneliness, of regret. Karen wrote about cleaning floors, serving people, and being ignored. "I felt invisible," the letter said. "And now I know how that feels." Maya folded the letter and sat quietly. Daniel waited. "What will you do?" he asked. Maya looked at the window. "I will answer," she said. She wrote back. "I forgive," she wrote. But forgiveness is not forgetting. It is choosing peace. Karen read the reply days later. She cried, not because she was free, but because she understood. Meanwhile, the restaurant reopened under new management. The walls were repainted. The staff was trained. A sign near the entrance read, "Respect is the dress code here." People noticed. The place slowly became a symbol of change. Maya and Daniel were invited to the reopening. Maya hesitated. "Do you need to go back there?" she asked. Daniel held her hand. "Only if you want to," he said. She nodded. "I want to close that door," she replied. The night of the reopening, Maya walked into the same restaurant. This time, she did not feel small. People stood up and clapped. Not because she was rich, but because she was strong. She wore a simple black dress. Elegant. Calm. The manager thanked her publicly. "We failed you," he said. "We will do better." Maya stepped forward. "This is not about me," she said. "It's about how we see others." Her voice was soft but firm. Later that evening, Maya noticed someone at the back. Karen. She stood quietly, wearing plain clothes. No muck-up. No pride. Their eyes met. For a moment, time stopped. Karen lowered her head. Maya walked toward her. The room grew silent. Karen whispered, "I'm sorry." Maya nodded. "I know," she said. They did not hug. They did not smile. But something heavy left the room. Daniel watched from a distance. That night, Maya and Daniel walked outside. The city lights felt warmer. "You changed many lives," Daniel said. Maya shook her head. "No," she replied. They were ready to change. As they walked, Maya felt lighter. The pain was still there, but it no longer controlled her. She had turned pain into purpose, and the world was listening. Somewhere behind them, the restaurant doors closed. Not as a place of shame, but as a place of learning. Months passed, but the story did not fade. It became a lesson. Maya's face appeared on screens, in classrooms, and on posters. Not because she was a millionaire's wife, but because she stood calm when hate tried to break her. She never asked to be famous. She only asked to be respected. One morning, Maya stood in front of a large hall filled with people. Students, workers, parents, and leaders sat quietly. They waited for her words. Maya took a deep breath. "I was not brave that night," she said. "I was tired of explaining my worth." The room stayed silent. "I wore a simple dress," she continued, "and someone thought that made me small." She paused. "But that dress carried my strength." Applause filled the hall. Daniel watched from the side, his eyes full of pride. He knew this was bigger than wealth or power. After the speech, a young girl ran up to Maya. "Can I be strong like you?" the girl asked. Maya smiled and bent down. "You already are," she replied. Outside, reporters waited again. One asked, "Do you still feel angry?" Maya shook her head. "No," she said. Anger was heavy. I put it down. That answer spread across the internet. Meanwhile, Karen's life was quiet now. She worked at a local center, helping people who had less than her. She no longer wore designer clothes. No one cared who she used to be. At first, she felt invisible. Then she realized something. This was how she had made others feel. One evening, Karen watched a video of Maya speaking. She did not feel hate. She felt understanding. I was blind, she whispered. Back at home, Maya opened a drawer. The torn dress was still there. She took it out and held it. This started everything, she said. Daniel stood beside her. What will you do with it? He asked. Maya thought for a moment. I will give it meaning, she replied. Weeks later, an exhibition opened in the city. Inside a glass case hung the torn blue dress. Next to it, a simple message read, "Clothes do not define dignity." People stood and stared. Some cried. Some nodded. The dress was no longer a symbol of pain. It was a symbol of change. Daniel stood beside Maya as people thanked her. You turned hate into hope, one man said. Maya answered softly. Hope was always there. That night, Maya and Daniel walked through the city streets. No cameras, no crowds, just quiet steps. Do you think the world really changes? Daniel asked. Maya looked up at the sky. It changes when people listen, she said. In a small classroom across town, a teacher played Maya's story for students. Remember, the teacher said, never judge by looks. The children nodded. Somewhere else, Karen cleaned a table and heard the story playing on a radio. She stopped and listened. She did not feel shame. She felt growth. The city moved on, but something stayed. People spoke kinder, listened longer, judged less, and all because one woman chose dignity over anger. Maya stood by a window that night, watching the lights. She touched the ring on her finger. I'm more than what they see, she whispered. Daniel wrapped his arms around her. And the world knows now, he said. The story ended not with revenge, but with understanding, not with anger, but with respect. And one torn dress became a voice loud enough to change many hearts. Glowing star final message for audience. Never judge a person by color, clothes, or silence. True power is dignity.